We're going to talk VHF radio tones. First off, what is a VHF radio tone? Simply, when you hit the push to talk button on your VHF radio, it's a sound that gets transmitted out and activates a repeater. Based upon what tone you have programmed into your radio determines what repeater you talk to. The biggest problem people have on SRA and mutual aid incidents with VHF radios is incorrect radio tones. Here we have a VHF radio tone map for the Amador El Dorado unit that shows the location of all the repeaters in El Dorado County and Amador County and what tones those repeaters operate off of. You have your El Dorado command tone, which as you move throughout El Dorado County, your tones change because the repeater that you need to access changes based upon geography and line of sight. Simply enough, if you hit your push to talk transmit button on your VHF radio and you hear the frequency open up, you are hitting the repeater. If you hit that button and you don't hear that frequency open up, you are on the wrong tone. I recommend that everybody print out these radio tone maps, carry them in your clipboards on your engines and your Type 3 engines so that you can reference them based upon where you're going to. You're responding to an incident off of Scott Road and Boys Ranch Road. It's in the SRA, it's in Battalion 14. How do you get to the proper tone for El Dorado Command for that incident? Pull up your tone map, you look on your tone map, the closest tone is going to be Bend Bolt. It's off of Highway 50, south of Highway 50, and it is going to be tone 13. How do you get to tone 13 on your VHF mobile or your BK portable? On your mobile, you make sure you're on El Dorado Command. You have your arrow keys that are on the right side of your mobile radio, and you start keying those up until you get to tone 13. As soon as you start hitting those keys up or down, it is going to show you what tone and what the frequency of that tone is. When you get to tone 13, stop, you're on the proper tone for that incident. Your BK radio, you pull your BK radio out, you turn it on, you make sure you're on El Dorado Command, and then once you're on El Dorado Command, you simply punch in 1 and 3 on the keypad on the front of your BK radio, and that'll show tone 13 below your frequency on the display. You're responding to an incident out of Rancho Murrieta off of Highway 16 out towards the county line. You're going to be on a different command channel because you're now going to be operating off of Amador Command. The tone for Amador Command is going to be different than the tone for El Dorado Command because you're going to be functioning off a different repeater. The primary repeater for that area is located out in Ione and is going to be operating off of tone 14. Get to the tone the same way you did going to the incident off of Scott Road. The only difference, you're operating off of a different frequency and a different command channel. You're now operating off of Amador Command. So now the question comes up, you're responding to an area you're not familiar with, and you don't have a tone map in your engine. How do you find out what tone you're supposed to be on? There are a couple ways you can do this. If you're able to contact Camino ECC, you can ask them what the best tone for this incident is going to be, and they are going to provide it. If you cannot contact Camino, then you can try trial and error and scroll through your tones and try and see if you can open up a repeater each time you key up your mic. The easiest way to avoid this is just to ensure that you have a tone map of Amador El Dorado or Nevada Yuba Placer units on your engines. Makes our jobs a whole lot easier and a whole lot less confusing. So what does a comm plan for an SRA incident look like? What frequencies are you going to have, and how many radios are you going to have to monitor? If it's an SRA incident in Battalion 14, it's going to be, you're going to have to monitor your BK radio, your 800 megahertz radio. So we all know when we respond in county on our 800 megahertz radios, we have the command channel that we respond and arrive on scene on, and we have our TAC channel. When we get to the VHF radios, we have a couple more channels added in. We're still going to have our command channel. So Amador and El Dorado Command are just like Fire A2 and Fire A3. Camino ECC or AEU dispatch is fire equivalent of fire dispatch, primarily used for dispatching and new incidents only. It's not for routine radio traffic. All command traffic goes onto the command channels. That's what you arrive on scene at. That's where you clear the scene, and any specific information that needs to be provided to the ECC about the incident gets provided on the command channel. You have your TAC channel. TAC channels are just like ours. They're for incident tactical radio traffic. VHF tactical channels are not repeated. So that means you don't have to have a tone, and that means you are not hitting a repeater. The problem with that is it's line of sight, and once you get into anywhere that has some terrain, communications can be difficult, and sometimes you may have to revert back to your command channel in order to contact the incident commander. You're also going to have an assigned air-to-ground channel just due to aircraft being in the area. Anytime aircraft are assigned to an SRA incident, an air-to-ground channel is assigned. So now you are up to a total of 5 channels that you're going to have to be monitoring. 2 on your 800 megahertz radio, 3 on your BK radios. You can program those 3 channels into your command group and program them into a scan group, and you can scan all 3 of them. Or a simpler way to do this is have each person on your crew monitor one of those channels.